My man.
Hey,
My
man.
man.
Been a long time.
Been a long time. Reggie Kirky dog in the house.
Yeah, one time for your mind,
Oakland,
man.
California, huh?
Yeah, man. Oakland, man. Born and raised, man. Highland Hospital, Brandy Park, Stonehurst, over the High Street. Yeah, shit. That's where everything, all the magic happened, man. Over when I met the crew over at High Street, man. We was different. Everybody didn't have the upbringing that we had, man. I like to say, out of everybody.
Let me stop you for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Let me back up a second. And
Okay.
Let's talk about putting into the crew. Let's talk about Greg Kirby dog.
All right.
Where you came from and how it started. Like you from Oakland, California.
Yeah.
East Oakland.
Yeah.
We heard a lot about East Oakland, man.
Right. It was a time of transition, I think, in East Oakland. Because I think a lot of things had happened prior. We were coming out of the Black Panther era. Getting into another era where guys were starting to make a lot of money on the streets. The streets had a lot of money. Everybody was hustling. It was a different time than it is. I think it still has that same spirit. We still had the spirit of the Panthers. We still got the spirit of the hustle, and but I think that back in the day when the hustle was there, it was a lot of rules to the game. It was a lot of do's and don't do's. It was things that you did on the street, but things that you wouldn't do on the street. You wouldn't go after a person's mother if you and this guy had a beef, or you wouldn't beat up his sister because you had a beef with him, or you had a beef with him. You had a beef with him. You wouldn't. It was certain rules to the game that we just didn't. Certain lines we just didn't cross that I could say now. I don't know if they still play by the same rules, man. From what I can see, they stopped playing, And then Oakland was divided up. It was Funk Town. We had we had the dirty 30s, the filthy 40s, the twomps. We had the 20s, the twomps. Oakland was sectioned off.
Don't forget about the High Street Bank Boys.
The bank boys. You know what I mean? We had the High Street Bank. Oakland was. And it was enough in the pizza for everybody. Everybody had their slice of the pie. Nobody was trying to be greedy. Just stay on your side and stay on mine. So, but everybody had their hustle. And I think that was one unique thing about growing up. Me and all my friends. You, Benny, Mike Fry, Eric Savoy. We all at a young age realized that we had to get our own money, even if it was cutting lawns, if it was going to Piper's, getting the tips off of the getting the tips off the tables, walking around. We wasn't waiting on nobody to give us nothing, man. We went out and tried to look for some ways to generate income to get the things that we wanted, and I think.
Take us back to those days when you was, let's say, in junior high school, hanging out with the boys, the fellas.
Yeah,
the camaraderie with the boys.
Yeah,
how you played Jeff Boys. Tell us about. Can we hear about the Jeff Boys? Tell us about that.
The Jeff Boys came from Jefferson. We had a lot of athletes. And as athletes. In Jefferson, we were athletes at a young age, and we played all day. The playground was our babysitter, you might say. If our parents wanted to find us or were looking for us, go up to the playground. So everybody participated at the playground. Everybody had a sport that they were good at, or some of us are good at 2 or 3 sports. But in our neighborhood. Because we had mothers that weren't on dope, and mothers that weren't, were active in our life as kids, it made all of these different households like home, where you can go to different people's house, but you were treated like you were one of their sons, even Mexicans and everything. It was no real difference in race or anything like that in our neighborhood. You know, we if you're a true Jeff boy, you know who Jamie and Dougie is. If you don't know who Jamie, if you don't know, if I say the words Jamie and Dougie, if you don't know who they is, you can't. You can't really call you.
You know Jamie Dougie is.
Yeah.
You ain't like this. You ain't from Oakland. You ain't from Oakland.
Yeah.
You ain't from Jeff boy.
Yeah.
You ain't from there.
You know, but everybody had their unique talents. But we all came together and we played and we respected one another, you know, in sport, in competition. And I think as a Jeff boy, man, the Jeff boys just came out of just having a camaraderie, because what happened was when people around the city learned that the Jeff boys could have some talent, learned that the Jeff boys up at Jefferson, they was playing basketball for real. They was playing baseball for real. They was playing football for real up at Jefferson. So that made other neighborhoods want to come challenge us. You know, people would come from different neighborhoods and be like, we heard y'all playing up here. We want to challenge y'all. You know, so we played against the Village. You know, we would play against, you know, guys from the 20s, Manzanita. We would play against different neighborhoods that would come challenge us, you know, because they heard about the reputation. Allendale had some guys over there. Joe Henry and everything would come from Allendale, where they would have their 5 and they want to challenge our best 5, you know, and then what people don't really know is that we had some NBA players that came out of Jefferson. You know, we had Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce used to be up at the Jefferson with his brother Jamal, and we'd be up there playing basketball. Paul be on the side, you know, shooting free throws, or we'd be kind of babysitting Paul while Jamal played, you know. I said, so a lot of people don't know Paul Pierce is a Jeff boy too, from the Boston Celtics, you know. Everybody know that Gary Payton is a Jeff boy too, you know. Gary Payton's father, his brother Al Payton, Greg Payton, you know, they all came through Jefferson. His father used to be up there sometimes filming us. His father would be up there sometimes filming us, and we would be playing all day. Toby Broom, the Brooms, you know, Raymond Moore. You know, we used to have hardened criminals up there playing basketball with us. Yeah. Avery Droughty, you know that. Yeah. Hey man, you know. Hey, remember Chris, the baseball player Chris? The Mosleys, Reg Mosley could have played, you know, easily played. You know, the Savoys had, you know, 10 kids. Derek Wright, Archie Hart. You know, we had some real athletes that played. You know, Henry Turner. He played at Jefferson with us. You know, he went to Sacramento. He went pro. We had a lot of guys that were real.
Gary Payton.
I mean, yeah. Hey.
Greg
Foster. Don't come up to Jefferson if you ain't got game, man. Don't come up to Jefferson if you can't play, man. We play up here. We play.
Hey, I gotta pay some bills, man. So we're gonna take a quick break so I can take care of my sponsors, and I'm gonna get right back at
Uncle Mario Total Media, our list of services is endless. We specialize in creating podcasts, producing and recording music, designing graphics, integrating business into the metaverse, crafting stunning music videos, and delivering top-notch film production. There's nothing we can't handle. Our team of talented professionals is ready to bring your vision to life. Uncle Mario Total Media, where creativity knows no boundaries.
Visit umtmshopping.com for great quality and excellent prices on women's clothes, men's clothes, baby clothes, and children's toys, electronics, and much more. Visit us now at umtmshopping.com.
Got game, man. Don't come up to Jefferson if you can't play, man. We play up here. We play. You know, and so everybody had they skill, you know. We had a big man, Ken Phillips. Ken Phillips was like Twinkle Toes, you know. He was like, you know, he was light on his feet, you know. He could play guard, you know. So
He was like Shaq.
yeah, he was that. Yeah, he was Shaq back then. But he was agile, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so I said, you know, so we had some unique athletes, man, and all these guys, Dennis Wicker and all these guys, they went on to play in college, you know, but they excelled in football. See, that was the thing. When nobody really just a one sport type of, we played everything. At Jefferson, you was good at baseball, you was good at basketball, you was good at football. We played everything. We played all the sports, you know. And so,
Even box.
yeah, and even box. Yeah, you know, Earl was good at boxing. We had John Connor is good at boxing, and my man Zachary Hewitt. You know, Zachary Hewitt was boxed on HBO. You know, and shit. He fought Marvin Hagler. Yeah. You know, we was definitely a neighborhood, you know, that was unique, but we didn't know it because it was normal to us. It was normal. We didn't know we was anything different or anything special. You know, all of us was actually smart kids. You know, we wasn't just only, you know, getting in trouble, because we did get in our amount of trouble, but we were also good in school. You know, we were smart kids that just was products of the environment. It wasn't that we couldn't have went to college. We didn't want to. It was too slow. You know.
that was our century, the playground.
The playground.
We had something to
Yeah.
play. I think, you know what, now I think about it, man, I think when they came out with all these Xbox and PS, Sony PlayStation, I think that messed the foundation of the kids growing up.
Yeah.
Kids went from the playground
To in the
staying
house.
home,
Yeah.
back, smoking weed.
Yeah.
They didn't get out in the playground no more. They stayed
Right.
on the front of the TV.
Right. And we were outside.
We were
You know,
outside.
that,
We had that.
Right. That was our toy was outside. You
Yeah.
know, we asked mom, "Hey mom, can I go outside?" And we didn't know what we was gonna do, but you know, outside was, you know, and then outside brought us together. You know, it made us do things together. I think that was the one thing, and I think we weren't the only ones. You know, I think that all over Oakland you had groups of kids that grouped together that were doing things together. You know, we weren't the only ones, but I think that when they started letting technology get in between us, then that started making a difference. Like you said, you bought up that PS2 and that now you only probably kick it with one or two people that can come over your house. You can't have the whole group of people at your house now. You know, you can't have 6 or 8, 10, 12 kids at your house, but like it used to be at the playground, you know. So that stopped it, man. I think that a lot of our, as far as getting along with people, as far as caring about people, technology has affected a lot of our interaction. A lot of our, you know, going to the park, you know, back in the day, we don't have family reunions like we used to have, you know, because we don't feel unified. You don't feel like comfortable, you know, being in crowds, you know. I think that a lot of that has to come back. And essentially, I can't say that it's dead. I just think that people have to see a need for it. I don't think anything is, you know, impossible, you know, because, you know, right now, everybody is looking down at their phone. Everybody's waiting on it to see what message they got, and we're staying in contact, you know, through the phone. I'm not gonna say it hasn't been a good thing because, you know, to be honest with you, you know, stuff like social media, it's brought people together that have not, that maybe you haven't seen in a long time, maybe you haven't thought about in a long time. I think when social media first came out, I think it had a lot of good attributes to it, to where you get on social media and you see a person you haven't seen since high school. You say hi, they say hi, you say what you've been doing. So I think in that aspect, it's been good. I think it's been good as far as people finding each other that maybe hadn't been in contact with a long time. Because as we grow, everybody tries to find their way and find their niche and find their place. And sometimes it's it's better for you to leave where you were grew up at and go make your your roots someplace else. So in that aspect, I think that it's been a good thing. I think it's been a good thing. But in the aspect of us being social, I think we've lost a lot of our social skills, and and it's even getting more and more antisocial as far as I'm concerned. I don't see, if you ride by now, most playgrounds, there's no kids on it. Most parks, kids are not in there playing. We used to be out there in droves, if not playing tackle football at Brookdale, if not playing basketball at Brookdale. Sometimes it'd be 3 games going on. We over here playing 5-on-5, and it's a tackle football game over here. Brookdale against Jefferson against Brookdale, or Brookdale against Allendale, or Brookdale against, I said, so as kids, we interacted with one another. We knew one another. We cared about one another. And even now, this guy right here whose house I'm at right now, I've known him for over 50 years. We met before we was double digits in age, and we still hanging out now. But this is what that kind of upbringing fostered. I don't think the upbringing that our kids are getting now is going to foster a 50-year friendships or friendships among kids that have known each other all their lives, because they're not interacting and the way that we used to. They're not dependent on each other the way we used to depend. I used to depend on Earl to be home so I could have somebody to play with. I used to depend on, you know what I mean? I depend. I was home. If he wasn't home, I was like, oh, where is he at? Oh, he left here with so and so. Oh, they left already. Where'd they go? Well, they said they was going to play pinball. Shit. So what we do? Go get a bunch of pennies, because we didn't have the money to play all day, and we pound those pennies on the ground until they was the size of a quarter. And we take that penny, and when it was the size of a quarter, and we put it in that pinball machine, and that pinball machine would play all day. That's how smart we was as kids. We figured it out, We figured out how to play. Yeah, we figured out how to play, man. And so we'd be on that pinball machine all day long. Nobody had nothing to say, because that thing would just keep on playing, just keep on playing, just keep on playing. And so it kept us out of trouble.
Let me pay some bills and take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to get right back at you.
All right, this your brother, man, and friend, Franklin Bay, Mr. Conscious Mind Entertainment. I am the Hood Flipper. I'm coming to you from West Memphis, Arkansas, man, out here in Las Vegas with the brothers, man, demonstrating good love and peace. We at a digital content studio where it goes down out here. You got live recording, you got the band room, you got the creative digital process that goes on right here where I'm sitting. These brothers got it together out here in Vegas, and it's a power move for all of us. So if you're back at home and you want to come to Vegas, you moving out this way, you need somebody to tap in with so you can get your music heard, get in the right places, get where the DJs at, know who the hottest promoters are in the city. This the spot for you right here. And this your brother, man, and friend, Franklin Bay. And you watching UMTV.
It kept us out of a lot of different trouble, where a lot of other kids were getting in trouble. We stayed out of trouble because we were athletes. We stayed out of trouble because we wanted to have fun. We stayed out of trouble because of the type of things we would want to do to try and make money. We didn't have no money. So a lot of our money was generated by going to the Raiders game, going to the A's game. Then, somebody like Earl would figure out that, why don't we sell tickets? We're like, because we see the big boys doing it, So we start getting tickets. We start waiting on the players. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, we stand in their parking stall, wait for them to pull in. They pull in, we knew who they were. Hey, there goes Stabler. Casper got that white Mercedes to say Casper on the back of it. We know before it got there, we know who you were. And then sometimes the rookies will start giving us tickets. You know what I mean? We'd be at the Warriors game, waiting in the tunnel. They coming out giving us tennis shoes. You know, I said so you either you wore them to the shoes or you sold them. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is we figured out ways that the Coliseum was gonna pay us. You know, we might leave out the Coliseum, but you might leave out the $75. You know, you might and for a kid that's like in elementary school, because we were in elementary school, we were still at Jefferson, and you generating $75 that your mama didn't know about. So if on a Sunday we went cutting lawns, found a couple of lawns to cut, or we went over and got a couple of tickets because some of the people, we were so small that the people would walk over to the gate and go, "Hey, little guys, I got a couple of extra tickets. You want these tickets?" And we'd be like, "Yeah, thanks, guy." You know, and they give us some tickets. Then we go downstairs and Mark was the head of the Coliseum concession stands. And so once Mark knew your face, you know, he knew you was a good worker, then Mark would choose you to sell, you know, when you were so small, elementary, Mark would give you peanuts or he'd give you Cokes. And you get 100, you'd have 100 peanuts in that one big giant box, and you got to walk around the stadium. That was our second hustle. So if you didn't make no money from tickets, if you didn't get no tickets that day, well, you went and sold Cokes or peanuts for Mark. He was the guy that picked the concession stands, you know. And hopefully, if you was lucky, you might get malts. Oh. Malts was the malts was the money. Yeah. Malts was the money maker, man. Yeah, because the Cokes were spilled. It was too many of the peanuts because you had to get rid of 100 of them things. So you might be there all day. You know, and then you got people playing with you. You got people up on the third deck going, "Hey, Peanut! Hey, Peanut!" Man, you walk all the way up to the third deck in that sun, and they go, "Oh, that's okay." And you turn back around and be like, I used to not go, you know. So we got to the point to where we would quit at halftime. Every time we'd only work till halftime so we could see the game. And so at halftime we would quit and go and turn our concessions in. Get our little bit of money, $14, $15. Then it was the big dice game in the village, behind 85th Village. It'd be like 30 or 40. After that, look, we still in junior high, elementary, junior high. But the big dice game, 30, 40 fools. You back in behind the village. You dealing with people that are cutthroat. But we was right there because we from Oakland too. And so, so anything y'all do, we do too, you know. But we be back there, man, with the guys from the village. I knew cats. They was good athletes too in the Ville, you know. I remember a guy named Benny was good in the Ville. He played for Lockwood, played for Havens Court. Big Nate, big left hand dude, big Lathan Wilson. You know, great player. Keith Bennett played basketball and baseball. You know, a lot of good cats came out of the projects. You know, the King brothers. You know, a lot of them dudes could really play, man. And you know, some of them was products of their environment. There was a guy named Hook Mitchell down in West Oakland. Hook Mitchell could jump out jumping over cars at Mosswood Park, dunking the ball. You know, if it probably wasn't for his environment that he was growing up in, you know, I'm sure he would have went to the NBA. He was just as good as Gary Payton or Brian Shaw. You know, and but Oakland has some environments, man, that if you didn't have the right kind of support, if you didn't have the right kind of parents, you know, then you might be a product of that environment. You might not never get to see your full potential because of where you grew up at, you know. And that was the difference between Jefferson and some of the other neighborhoods, is that we had a good environment to grow up in. So that's why a lot of us wind up growing up in Oakland and growing out of Oakland and still being, you know, good role models, good adults, knowing right from wrong, you know, taking care of our kids, You know, Oakland is a place that has a lot of diversity, and I'm talking about diversity within races. You know, we wasn't all the same. All of us was killers and mean, and some of us was scholars. You know, but they don't talk about us. You know, they don't talk about the people who live above MacArthur. They from Oakland too. You know, so and they talk about the flatlands. What's going on in the flatlands? You know, like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, she know about the flatlands. That's where she lived at. You know what I mean? So she know about the hills. What the difference was. What the difference was when you go to a Berkeley school versus going to an Oakland school. It was a difference. It was a difference because of the educational system. Because Cal Berkeley, those schools were supposed to feed the college. You know, I think what most people don't realize is that Oakland has about 6 or 7 different colleges in about a 25 to 35 minute range of each other. You can go to San Jose State. You can go to Stanford. You can go to San Francisco State. You can go to Berkeley. You can go to UOP. You can go to Merritt. You can go to Laney. See, as people only talk about the negative side of Oakland, but Oakland has a lot of smart people in Oakland as well. You know, it's a lot of education in Oakland as well that they don't really talk about. You know, but I think that what they're doing now, they're pricing everybody out. They want the land back. Oakland is a great place, you know, to be. It's the hub of the Bay Area. Everywhere is 35 minutes from Oakland. 35 minutes from Oakland, you're in San Jose. 35, 40 minutes from Oakland, you're damn near in Sacramento. 35 minutes the other way, you know, in another major city. Oakland is like right in the middle. That's why a lot of the distribution centers are in Oakland. You know,
Let me say this in closing. We talked about how we grew up as kids, the Jeff boys, the camaraderie we had, meeting at the playground, and always the same clique, the same group of people
Right.
who we grew up with.
Right.
So where are we today with this same group of people? Are they still around? Are they still alive? Do they still talk?
We have, you know, we've suffered some losses, and we just had a recent loss of one of our dear friends, great friends, David Simeon. He just recently passed, but and then we also had you know, some other people that passed along the way, because Oakland is a place where, you know, you can get caught up, and if you don't know your way out, once you get lost, you might not get out. And if you don't get out, then you might wind up deceased. But one of the things that kept us together as Jeff boys was our parents, man. Our parents would let us be kids, and they would let us. I can go over to Earl's house, and if Earl wasn't there, I could still go in and sit in his room until he got home. His mom would be like, "Well, he'll be here in a little while. Come on in. You hungry?" So the whole neighborhood, I can go over Dave's house, you know, that I just mentioned past, and Dave's mom has taught me how to play gin rummy. She would sit down with us and play, and she loved to play gin rummy. Dave's mom taught me how to play gin rummy at a young age. So it was our parents that was different. It was parenting that was different. It was that we were all saw as kids, and on holidays and stuff like that. I can go to somebody's house on Christmas. I didn't have to eat it. I didn't have to eat at my house on Thanksgiving. I have 5 other houses I can go to on Thanksgiving and get Thanksgiving dinner. And I'd walk in, and the first thing that the mother would say, "Have you eaten? Did you eat?" And when I said nope, "You want a plate?" So it was watching how our parents treated us, showed us how to treat each other. We learned how to treat each other by watching how our parents treated us. Earl calls my mother his second mother. He calls her a second mother because she treated him like a son. But yeah, but that's the thing.
I remember those days I just come over there. Like you said, you might be there, and I go downstairs and like in the room downstairs.
Yeah.
Earl downstairs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it was important that we learned how to treat each other by the way our parents treated us. We learned to treat each other as brothers because our parents treated us like we were their kids, like we were just all kids. So it was no reason to, it was me, Brett Moore, Arthur Captain, Jerome Lacey, Tony Jones. They might not have went to Jefferson, but they were still, part of our friendship. We had extended friendship, but the core people that lived around Jefferson, that played around Jefferson every day, we still are friends, and we still are close, and we still stay in touch with one another. We probably feel like we should do better. But sometimes life doesn't give you that chance because you have your schedule and you have the things that you want to do already scheduled. You have plans, you have goals. And sometimes those plans and goals don't allow you to spend time like you should. So we wind up only being together during weddings and funerals and stuff like that because we haven't took out the time to make schedules and make, events that we all could, have the time to go to. And I think we could do better at that. I think we could start planning things just so we could see each other, not just at funerals and weddings and start seeing each other when we just for the sake of seeing one another, But I want to mention Eddie Alexander, who else? Derek Wright. It was one of the people that left us early. It used to be called Ricky Enright. And Ricky Enright was cross-eyed. He was real dark, and he was a bully. So it was, when we see Enright come, he'd be like, oh man, he finna mess up the whole thing. He do something like take the ball and throw it or do something. He's like, oh man, here come Enright, man. I said, so it's a lot of people, man, that were instrumental, man, in how we grew up and how things got, shaped up, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, during the Bruce Lee period, we all thought we was new karate, They mentioned Ron Sanders too. Eddie Todd too. And Big Grant.
Big Grant.
Yeah. Christopher Boy. Yeah. These were guys that I'm telling you, that I'm naming you, that all could play ball and all had their unique, Elliot Bivens, everybody had their unique way of playing ball. Nobody played alike, but we all were good. Everybody had their own unique way that they played, but however you played, it was effective for you. The way that you shot the ball, where you like to get the ball at, how you like to do it, everything was good for you. I was good at making the move, but then at the last minute, I might blow the layup. But it was pretty. It was pretty. But it was the move was pretty. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, that was our neighborhood, and like I said, we didn't know what we had because it was just normal for us. Everybody was just having fun. Everybody was just doing what they did. So I think that a lot of other people, John Connor, if I hadn't mentioned Big John, if I didn't mention the Mosleys, if I didn't mention Michael Jackson, if I didn't mention Black Mike, and if I didn't mention who else am I thinking about? Charlie, what's up, Charlie? So these are all people, man, that were important to our neighborhood and made up of our neighborhood. You know, you didn't understand the difference between the two. It was because we were all, like I said, raised by good people, and we came from good stock. And when you come from good stock, man, you wind up being a good person. So a lot of us are not, you know, on death row, and we're able to make a difference, and we're able to talk to one another, and we're able to come together. So you know, this has been a bit of a sad time, you know, because our good friend Dave Simeon has passed away, and you know, we looking to put him down and give him a nice ceremony. So I'm hoping that, you know, I see a lot of old friends, even though it's a sad occasion, but I hope our schedules allow a lot of our friends that would like to be there to come and you know, fellowship together and see one another, man. You know, a lot of us been knowing each other for 40, 50 years, man. And I think that I don't think it's unique. I think there's a lot of people probably around the country that can say that, you know, but we wanted a unique people that can say it. You know, we wanted a unique groups of guys that have known each other that long. And so coming together is going to be important for us, and coming together is going to be another time for the Jeff boys to see each other again. I hope we get most of the Jeff boys. Remember Chris that used to play baseball? What was his last name? Chris McMillan. Yeah, Chris McMillan. I want to mention and Boots. Yeah. And Bootsy. Yeah. Those guys were important too. They were a little older than us, but they were very important in showing us, you know, how to play. And Chris McMillan was serious about that baseball, boy. That boy, he loved baseball.
Well, man, it was great talking to you, man, and just reminiscent of our past. Like I said, we go back 40, 50 years, man, and man, it's good seeing you again. And in closing, man, I'm just happy to see you again, and you're here, man.
Thank you, man.
I know you had a new event in your life.
Oh yeah.
As far as your marriage.
Yeah, definitely, man. Turned a new chapter, man. So I was coming up on 2 years now, and you know, and for me, you know, it was a long time coming, you know, but you had to be at a certain mindset, you had to be at a certain experience, you had to be at a certain understanding, because sometimes it's not even about it's not even about getting what you want. It's about knowing what you don't want. And so, and that comes with experience, is to know what doesn't work for you, knowing what's not going to be good for you. So, yeah, I'm happy for my wife and Jennifer, and she's like the yin to my yang, and she gave me, you know, a good partner. We friends. We homies. You know what I'm saying? So I take her everywhere. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. You know, I believe this. I believe that females have a imagination about who their partner is going to be. And I think that they tell stories about meeting Prince Charming, and Prince Charming is everything that they dreamed about, everything that they thought that they would have. So I think you should try to be, as a man, when you meet somebody that makes you feel that way, you should try to be their Prince Charming. And you should try to fulfill her dreams of what she wanted to be and what she imagined. You should try to take it beyond that. You know, I think if you could be her Prince Charming, then you got something.
I'm just so happy for you, man. I'm happy.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
To see you again. You're here. You always been. It's hard to call you a friend. To me, you family. You
yeah,
friend,
for sure.
You're like my brother, you know. You're like my brother from another mother. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna close with this And I gotta get a picture of my man here.
Oh man.
You know, it's been so long time coming.
Yeah, get you in there, brother.
Long time coming. Let's get the wife up here. Come on. It's family here, all of us. It's all of us. Can we get in this picture?
Let me see. You got knees on your knees?
You good.
Hold on, little man not in there, little man.
Boom.
All right.
There we go.
At Uncle Mario Total Media, our list of services is endless. We specialize in creating podcasts, producing and recording music, designing graphics, integrating business into the metaverse, crafting stunning music videos, and delivering top-notch film production. There's nothing we can't handle. Our team of talented professionals is ready to bring your vision to life. Uncle Mario Total Media, where creativity knows no boundaries.
Visit umtmshopping.com for great quality and excellent prices on women's clothes, men's clothes, baby clothes, and children's toys, electronics, and much more. Visit us now at umtmshopping.com.
This your brother, man, and friend Franklin Bay, Mr. Conscious Mind Entertainment. I am the Hood Flipper. I'm coming to you from West Memphis, Arkansas, man, out here in Las Vegas with the brothers, man, demonstrating good love and peace. We at a digital content studio where it goes down out here. You got live recording, you got the band room, you got the creative digital process that goes on right here where I'm sitting. These brothers got it together out here in Vegas, and it's a power move for all of us. So if you're back at home and you want to come to Vegas, you moving out this way, you need somebody to tap in with so you can get your music heard, get in the right places, get where the DJs at, know who the hottest promoters are in the city. This the spot for you right here. And this your brother, man, and friend, Franklin Bay. And you watching UM TV.